All right. Everybody in their position. Everybody seated. You like this? Chair. Out to the end. All right, here we go. Here we go. Welcome. Welcome everyone. I am Ron. This is Core Without the Floor. That's it. I knew there was a name for it. Forgot it. All right, let's start out. Neutral position. Let's go. To start out, we are making sure that we have that back in its neutral position. We have that straight spine. So bring the shoulder blades back, get the chest out. Come out to the edge of the chair as much as you can. That is going to strengthen you up the most. Great modification though. As you get stronger, you can start working your way out a little further on that chair. The farther out you go, the more the core has to work. But if the core is not strong enough to hold your neutral position while you're out to the edge of the chair, come on back. All right, shoulder blades are back. Chest is out. Relax. Relax the arms. Shoulders fall right underneath the ears. In alignment with the hips. Just let the arms drag down, hang down on the side. They're not dragging, hanging down on the side. You're looking right straight out in front of you. Remember, we have that tennis ball right here between the chin and the chest. It's an imaginary tennis ball. It's like my imaginary friend. All right, here we go. That was the start of it. Shoulder blades back, chest is out. Always hold on to the back of the chair if you need to keep that spine in neutral position. So if you catch yourself leaning forward, just grab onto the back of the chair lightly as you can. And then we start the movement in a march, working hip flexors, picking that up. Quadriceps, keeping that knee at 90 degrees. Lower abs as we pick it up and tuck. So always starting out very, very small on this one. We're warming up the muscles. We are not going all the way out and trying to start sweating within 30 seconds of starting. It is just that nice, easy gait, heel up first, then off the ball of the foot. Arms with it, opposite arm, opposite leg. Man, that is a mental challenge for me, that opposite arm, opposite leg. This is early in the morning. Bring it up and up. Start bringing that knee just a little bit higher, making sure you've got that alignment, knee, toe, hip, all pointed right out front. You are looking out front, not down at your feet, but right out in front of you. And up, bring it up just a little bit higher. Get the arms rolling just a little bit more. And we are good. Let's go to the upper body. Hands behind the head, fingers just resting on the back of the head. Don't push it down. You'll crush that tennis ball down there. Roll the shoulder blades back. And we're going to do a nice easy rotation. Feet stay flat on the floor, knees pointed forward, hips don't move. So the sits bones stay right where they are. Just rotate the shoulders, that shoulder girdle, keeping the shoulders in a straight line. It's a super small move. We are just getting those muscles warmed up. And around. Keep the elbows out as wide as you can. That keeps the shoulders in a straight line. Remember, spine does one thing at a time. We are rotating it. And by keeping the shoulders straight, there's only one place the back turns, and that's right in the middle of the thoracic spine. So that's all we're doing is just moving from the middle of the back up through the shoulders, not letting anything else go. If you feel the knees bowing to the outside or the weight shift through the sits bones, then you're turning the hips too. We're not getting any stretch there. Bring it back one more time. And back. Bring the arms down. Shake that out. Little shoulder rolls. Get the arms out to the side, a little bigger, a little bigger. So all we're doing is getting the heart pumping just a little bit more so you don't have to do big shoulder circles. Let's go the other way and around. We're not using the upper body. We're not using the arms and the shoulders to do any lifting. So this is really just for getting the blood pumping through the veins, getting the oxygen into all the muscles, and shake that out. Side bend, hands just down at the side. We're going to work the obliques now, those muscles on the outside of the abs. Reaching down, keeping the spine straight. So as you come down, you're not dropping the head. That just puts a lot of strain on the neck. All you're doing is coming down, reaching with that hand as far down as you can, coming back up to center, going to the other side. Keep yourself in alignment, spine in neutral, one thing at a time. And that's the side bend. Stretching out those vertebrae on the side, warming up the obliques that are pulling us down diagonally, laterally, and back up. One more time on each side, a little deeper. neck straight, and back up. Fortunately, and I use my monitor for this, you probably should too if you can see yourself on the screen. Check to make sure that you're not dropping that head down, that you're keeping it in a neutral position. And bring it back up to center. Remember when we did this? We're going to do it again. Hands behind the head. Chin up, chest out. Starting out bringing that knee up right there first. Now, if you are having problems with this one, keeping the shoulder blades back and chest out, then go ahead, scooch back on the chair just a little bit. Keeping the hands up, because what we're going to do here is we're working the lower abs by lifting the leg, and now we're going to do a rotation at the same time with the elbows and bring it back. It's really important. Go slow on this one. Bring the foot up, then rotate the shoulders. We're not bending and turning. We're not bending and twisting. This isn't bend me, shape me anywhere you want to. That's not it. It's just around shoulder girdle, working the lower abs and the outer abs at the same time. And around a couple more times. Squeeze, bring it back, and around, and back down again. We're going to do that again, but we're going to get into a hip hinge. So let's practice the hip hinge first. Hands on the thighs, shoulder blades back. Remember, this is kind of a push-up. You're going to take, and all the weight's going to go into the palm of the hands, coming down, stretching out the lower back, keeping the chest out. You got that space between the chin and the chest, coming right straight down, keeping the shoulder blades back, looking down at the floor, right straight down. Don't let the chin go below the chest. You don't want the head below the heart. And using the hands, push up through the heel of the hands. Roll the shoulder blades back and push up. One more time, taking it down. Hold it. Feel the stretch on the inner thighs, outside of the hips and the glutes. And through the hands, palm of the hands, you're doing a push-up to bring yourself back up again. Right there. And hold. We're going to go into a pelvic tilt. So, squeezing these lower abs. And this is a hard one to cue on, to make sure that you're not squeezing the glutes and bringing the hips forward. What you do is you're taking the muscles in the lower abs and rolling that hip up. So it's a contraction of those muscles. Small move, but you want to feel everything happening right here from the belly button down to the hips. And then release and up. Again, this is something you should be doing all the time. This is a great lower ab exercise. Nice and easy. Nobody really knows you're doing it. Up and back down. You don't look silly when you're sitting in a chair or standing up doing this. And back one more time. Squeeze those abs, roll the hip forward. Feel the muscles working in the lower half of the stomach. Don't push them out. It's contracting. Squeezing. And then bringing it back in. I do want to talk about one thing. So they say that bring the belly button into the spine. And that's a good thing. But if you think about it, you can pull that belly button in and you're really not working those abs. It's more important that you think about contracting them, like taking a fist and just tightening those muscles in there so that they get tighter, stronger, harder, that feeling in there, like you're bracing for a punch, they always say. That's a good one for it. The one that they use as a really good one is if, you know, you're going to pass gas and you don't want to. Hate to use that one, but it really is the best one I can think of to work on those ab muscles. Get you a cue that know what it feels like. All right, shoulder blades back. Enough of that potty talk. Out to the side. Bring it in. Other side out. Tap the toe. Bring it in. Working outside of the hips. Remember, core is more than just the abs. Core is the glutes going up through the hips all the way up to the rib cage. Step out and in. So we're working these outer muscles, these abductor muscles that pull that leg out, inner thigh that bring it back in again. Maintaining neutral position uses the core. Out and in, out. Getting the upper body at the same point, push and bring it back in, other side, out. Tap the toe right straight out. Lift the leg up, heel comes off first, ball of the foot, out to the side. See if you can keep that toe forward. If you turn it out, you're not going to feel any muscles working, but if you take and turn it when you're out there, you're going to feel the muscles all the way up the thigh involved in bringing that foot in, out, and back. Stationary leg, make sure the knee is pointed forward. Always using those muscles through the legs. We're working the core, but there's no reason not to engage those other muscles. Out and in. They're twofers, all of them. One move, multiple muscle groups. Out and in. I forgot to get the arms going. And back. Sweep up. There we go. And back in. Bring them up. Keep the shoulder blades back, chest out, and bring the arms back down again. Step out to the outside. Again, getting the shoulders, getting a little movement through there. We don't use them, but it also helps to get the blood flowing, get the oxygen flowing throughout the bloodstream. And back down one more time. Up and bring it back down again. Left hand outside the right knee, taking that right hand, grabbing onto the back of the chair or the seat of the chair. First thing before you start, you got that gap there? Shoulder blades are back, chest is out. So it's a scoop. Instead of being down here looking at the floor, you're rolling that chest out, putting that curve in the lower part of the back. Backhand does all the work here. Rolling that shoulder around, getting the rotation through the spine. Keep the spine in neutral so that you do not hurt the lower back or the middle of the back as you do this. Rotate. I always say the lower back because that's my weak point, my Achilles tendon, my Achilles heel. Other side, right hand outside the knee. My wife has more problems with the middle of her back. This was a problem for her when she didn't maintain neutral position. So shoulder blades are back, chest is out. That's the most important thing. Hand on the outside of the knee is just to stabilize that front shoulder. As you take that back shoulder and start rolling it around, chin goes with it through the neck, using those obliques, contracting the muscles to bring us around. So it's a stretch as well as working those core muscles. And bringing it back to center. Just step out, extending at the knee, bringing it back. We're going to warm up these quadriceps a little bit. Out and in. Hip flexors, lift the leg. Quadriceps, tighten up. Driving that lower leg out or pulling it out. Push and back. Out. Let's up the ante here just a little bit. We're going to go out and bring the toe back in and then to middle. So it's heel out, leg back. Here's where you're working the core, lower abs, hip flexors by holding yourself in place, shoulder blades back, down and up. So we're getting a lot of different muscle groups here. This is the important piece, that's holding yourself in neutral. It's all important, but we're working the lower body, absolutely. But what we're doing is really tightening up these core muscles to make this movement happen safely. And that's the key. Last ones, out, in, tap, out, in, and tap. Left leg first, right straight out. Little bend in the knee, toe up. Roll the shoulder blades back. This one, grab onto the back of the chair. Try to get yourself out. All we're going to do is just pick that leg up an inch off the floor and drop it back down. Concentrate on those shoulder blades back. We're working those lower abs, hip flexors, up and back down again. You're going to feel these muscles right up here in the front of the hips working hard as they lift and back down. That's why you don't want to bring it up too much. The other thing you really want to prevent against is as you pick the leg up, bringing the shoulders forward. It makes it a lot easier to get that leg up, but you also feel pain in the back. And down, up. Little move. I'm picking that foot up inches off the floor, and these muscles in the front of the hip are just super engaged. And back down. They're really working hard. I don't have to bring it way up in the air. There's nothing gained by that. Gravity's doing the same thing whether you're up here or down here. Up and back down. We're not working on range of motion. We're working on strength. So we're focusing on these muscles in the front. Remember, you knowing which muscles are working is the important part, that you can feel those muscles engage. Other leg, shoulder blades back, a little bend in the knee, lift off the heel, come back down. Make sure you're not leaning to one side. As you pick that leg up, you're rolling off to the side. You want to keep those shoulder blades back. Sits bones, you should always feel the weight on the sits bones being the same on both sides, so you don't have any of this shifting happening through the hips. So it's up and back down, up and in. Two more and down. Last one, up and back down. Going into that, both feet out, roll the shoulder blades back. One at a time, we're going to bring the knee in a tuck. Let's do this way. So shoulder blades are back, little bend in the knees, and just roll those shoulder blades back. Really put the weight behind you using those arms as kickstands. Really protect that lower back, keeping it stable. Pull the knee in and extend. Hip flexors, quadriceps, lower abs doing the work here. In, tap the heel. In. One thing I will never have you do is bring both feet up off the floor at the same time. It is so hard to do. It is just, it's a recipe for disaster, as they say. If you bring both feet up at the same time, usually the back gives and you start leaning forward, and that puts all sorts of strain on the back, and especially the lower back. Up and back down, up and back. So I've seen younger people doing senior exercises, and they talk about that all the time, bringing both feet up off the floor. You won't see that if you see older people doing the exercises. In and out, in and back out. Last one, up and back down. All right, last thing we're going to do here, seated, is foot up, roll it in, and back down, shoulder blades back. So I lost that neutral position. Again, I was down here with my shoulders down. Bring it up. Again, concentrate on this all the time. Anytime you're seated, even standing, get those shoulder blades back. Get yourself in neutral. Foot up and back in. So this is less about the knee going out wide. It's about that heel coming up and back down, other side. Don't let the stationary leg move. Hold on to the chair for right now. Up and back down, working these inner thighs. Up. Lower abs again with the rotation. Opposite hand, opposite heel. So reach. And back down, hold on to the chair. Tap. And back. Up. So what I had happen there, stationary leg, knee dropped out. Tighten up those muscles. Strengthen that knee up. Opposite arm, opposite leg. There we go. By keeping your body in neutral position as much as possible. Up and back. Working the core muscles constantly. Out and up. Tap. And back. Up. So you don't have to touch the heel. If you can't get up that high and you can't reach that heel without rolling the shoulders down, don't worry about it. Up. Keeping that back straight. Remember, you're rotating. You don't want to rotate and bend at the same time. Up and back. One more each side. And you are there. Halfway done. Grab yourself some water. We're standing up, finishing out using the chair to help us. Helping us from a standing position. Excuse me. So again, let's start out getting our neutral position. Shoulder blades back, underneath the ears, hips, knees, excuse me, and ankles should be, in alignment. Knees are going forward a little bit. Little bend. There's a little curve there in the lower part of the back. What you're looking for is being upright, sharing the load all the way through all the joints in the body instead of getting just one joint or one piece of one joint if your leg is out to the side, putting stress on the knees. All right. First thing we're going to do is a side bend again. So hand up over the shoulders. So I recommend doing this from behind the chair. I'm going to do it on the side so you can see what I'm doing. Little bend in the knees. I'm in neutral position. This is really important. That side bend, we're going to go farther with it this time. Bringing it down. Head up. Don't let it come down to the shoulders. Spine should always be in neutral, protect the neck. Knees are bent just a little bit. Feet are flat on the floor. Hip is not kicking out. We're getting all the stretch through those obliques. And now we're using those muscles on the side of the core to bring us back up again. And bring it down. Again, up. Reach over, feel the stretch through the rib cage. So a good cue I like to use is ear on the inside of the upper arm. That keeps that neck straight. And then bring it back down Again, staying on this side, little bend in the knee, shoulder blades are back, chest is out, lifting that leg to the outside. Most important thing on this, you've got bend in the stationary leg, you've got toe pointed forward, heel out to the side and back in, and don't lean off to the side. So what we want to do is concentrate on these muscles on the outside of the hip, outside of the core, lifting and back down again. Knees stay, or thighs stay in alignment, legs stay in alignment, same plane. Bring it out. Feeling those muscles work. Medial glutes right in the middle of the butt and the outside of the hip and outside of the core. So don't lean out to the side so you get that leg higher. That's not using those muscles. Tighten these up. When they contract, it lifts that leg. And back down. Up. Squeeze. And back down. Hand up. I'm still using this hand on here. Remember, you're not pushing all your weight into it. It's just to keep you upright so that you can focus on the muscles, not balance. Bring it down on the side, just like we did, moving that way. Moving into the chair over the opposite shoulder. Now we're going in the same side and up. Next, stay straight. Bring it down. Feel these muscles working. You get to a point where it stops. Give it one more squeeze, getting down just a little bit, and bring it back up. Concentrate. Here's a piece for all the exercises. Bringing those shoulder blades down as far as you can as you do these exercises. When you use those lats on the outside, it accentuates those muscles on the outside of the core working to pull you down. One more time. Squeeze and bring it up. All right. Combo move. Foot up, roll out, and bring it back in. Working every part. We're working from the lower hip all the way up to the rib cage when we do this. So we're coming down on top, up underneath, neck is straight, looking right straight out in front of you. Feel these muscles engage. Don't come out of it until you feel those muscles on the outside of the stomach engage. Out. Feel them tighten up. They're doing their job. When you can feel that working and you can hold it, that's when you're doing the most work. Getting those muscles to break down so they build back up again. And up one more time. Out. Squeeze it. Come back in. Other side. Again, back of the chair works fine on this one. All right, so here we go. Little bend in the knees. We're taking that outside arm, bringing it up and over. Stretching the muscles on the outside, contracting the muscles on the inside. Ear is right there on the inside of the upper arm. Little bend in the knees. Bring it down. Feel these muscles tighten up to pull you down. Feel these muscles stretching from the hips all the way up, top of the hips, all the way up through the chest. And again, out to the side, through the rib cage, over. So a great stretching exercise, but you're also getting the core work out of it. And back down. So core work is more than just tightening up the muscles. It's also stretching them, making sure they're flexible. So you can get movement. Down and back up. Again, leg out to the side. Feet are forward. Little bend in the knees. Shoulder blades are back. Bring that leg out to the side and bring it back in. Again, make sure you're not bending off to the other side. This foot does not have to come up real high because the minute it starts to get too high, you're going to be leaned the other way. That's not working these muscles on the outside of the hips anymore. Again, core is not just the stomach. Core is working those muscles outside of the hips, in the glutes. And back down. Hold that core tight. Tighten up those muscles. Remember, you're getting ready for a punch. Holding it tight. Bring it out. And back in, outside of the hip, outside of the outside glutes. And back down one more time. Up. And back down. Let's get a feel for this first. Shoulder blades are back. Elbow back as far as you can get it. Bring it down on the side. Keeping the neck straight. And bring it back up. Down. So hard not to let that head drop too. Down. And up. One more time. And then we do the combo. Start out, straight line. You're going to be right over that stationary leg. And then head down, or shoulder down, elbow down, leg up, and back to the top. Make sure you can feel the weight in that stationary leg across the foot, front to back, side to side, all the way across the ball of the foot, all the way around the heel. Don't let yourself lean out to the side, kind of rolling out, down. Again, the more you can keep your body in alignment when you do exercises, the more you're going to strengthen the body and put it into a natural alignment. It'll automatically happen. One more time. Down and up. Squeeze and bring it back. Back over to the other side. Or you're just holding on to the back of the chair. We're going to bring the knee up on this one. So just bring one leg up. Stationary leg, little bend in the knee. Bring it up. High as you can get it. Hold it there. Feel the muscles working in the front of the hip. And back down. So that pelvic tilt, we're going to add that to this. Knee up and then roll. Roll the hips forward. That knee's going to come up just an inch more, but you're going to feel these muscles engaged from the belly button all the way to the top of the hip. And back down, up, roll the hip, squeeze it, and back down one more time. Bring it up, and back down. So I forgot that cue. Exhale. Always exhale at the end of those. You really want to get those muscles engaged. We're going to the other side. When you tighten up those muscles to get the air out of the lungs, tighten up the muscles in the core, pushing that diaphragm up, forcing the air out, you're getting just this great workout through all those muscles in the stomach. Up. And back down. Remember, don't push the stomach out. It has a tendency to push out and roll the shoulders down. Keep the shoulders back. Stay in neutral. Roll the hip forward. You're going to feel it when that hip rolls forward. The knee's going to come up just a little bit more. And down. Up. And back down one more time. Up. Squeeze it. And back down. All right. I'm going to finish up here with hand to the heel and bring it back out. Leg comes up, little bend in the knee. We're doing that forward raise, up and back down, taking the opposite arm. If you can, this is really important if you're going to do it this way, you can do a hip hinge in here, but keep the back straight, shoulder blades back, and then reach down and back up. The tendency is to roll the shoulder blades down towards the foot so you can get down lower. Now we're looking for, all we want is that hip hinge, rotation of the shoulder, up and back. So out, squeeze the core muscles, rotate the shoulders, and back up. One more time, down, rotate, and back up. If you're feeling any twinge in the lower back, don't do that hip hinge. Don't go forward and rotate. You're probably rolling those shoulders down just a little bit. You need to wait till the core gets stronger. Arm out to the side, foot up, and rotate. And back up. Down. So this would be a jackknife if you're on the floor. Up. Squeeze it. Leg comes right straight up, little bend in the knees. Hip rolls forward, just like when we did that crunch. That tuck. Squeeze. And back up. I am not coming anywhere near the heel. Don't need to. All I need are those muscles to contract around. Feel those muscles on the side as you rotate. Feel the muscles on the lower abs lift that leg. And back up one more time. Roll it. And back up. We are done with those. Let's stretch out. Whew. I felt that. All right. Step away from the chair. I love saying that. Step away from the chair. Push the butt out. Coming down into a tabletop. Feel the stretch to the back of the legs. Calf muscles, hamstrings. Other way, calf muscles, hamstrings. Keep the shoulder blades back, pushing on the back of the chair to keep the shoulders back. Drive up through the hands, scooping the chest out. Bring it up into a full standing. Roll the shoulder blades back. One more time. Step back and down. Stretch out the back of the legs and back up again. Holding on to the back of the chair. Knee pointed towards the floor. Bring the foot up off the floor. Keep the knee 90 or below. So you don't want to be way up here. You can just keep the knee at 90. And just push the foot back. You're working these muscles in the back, but you're stretching out those hip flexors that we use so much in the quadriceps, front of the thighs, and bring it back. Anytime we contract those muscles, we want to make sure that we stretch them out when we're done and bring it back in one more time out and back. Other side. We are completely out of time. Let's get this stretch in there. I have 30 seconds left. I'm going to use every one of them. Back and up. Stationary leg, little bend in the knee, push it back. So what this takes the place of is grabbing the back of the leg and bringing it up. That's really hard. And if the knees aren't ready for it, it's really hard to grab onto that. So just keep that knee at 90, push back, get the stretch, bring it in, set it down, shake it out a little bit. One time, taking down. We got to get some air in the lungs. Get rid of that stuff, that junk that's in the lungs that came out of the muscles. Deep breath in, stomach out, getting into the lower lungs. Exhale, bringing the arms down. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. We will be back next week, having as much fun as we did this week. Yay! All right, guys. Thank you. There's so much. It's so good. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You bet. Thank you for being here. Yep. And we are out. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'll see you next week.